Fantasy Football 2020. Red flags you need to avoid. Subscribe to Sportsmafia for more videos. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers hasn't shown signs of sharp decline, but the two-time MVP has an uninspiring supporting cast. The Green Bay Packers passing offense finished 17th last year, and the unit won't feature any notable upgrades this season. The Packers focused on their future during the draft, trading up in the first round to select quarterback Jordan Love and selecting 3 offensive linemen in the 6th round for depth. Green Bay signed Devin Funchess in free agency, but he opted out of the 2020 campaign, leaving a wide receiver corps in prove-it mode with the exception of Devontae Adams. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Alan Lazard, and Equanimus St. Brown must take strides to establish themselves in the other starting spots. Based on the Packers' roster makeup, head coach Matt LaFleur seems prepared to emphasize the ground attack, featuring Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, and rookie second-rounder A.J. Dillon. Fantasy managers should buy into the Packers' running backs and sell their stock in Rodgers. Running back Todd Gurley, Atlanta Falcons. Todd Gurley passed his physical with the Atlanta Falcons in June, which is positive news for a running back with major question marks about his knee. However, we shouldn't breathe a sigh of relief for Gurley's fantasy outlook yet. Last season, he recorded career lows in total rushing yards and yards from scrimmage. The Los Angeles Rams offensive line shares some responsibility for Gurley's lackluster campaign, as it ranked 19th in run blocking. However, the Falcons unit also struggled to clear lanes for its ball carriers, ranking 24th. Atlanta retained 4 of its 5 starters across the offensive line, so take Gurley's supporting cast into account if you consider him in the second round. Furthermore, as an offensive coordinator and head coach, Dirk Cutter hasn't fielded a rushing offense that ranked higher than 24th in yards since 2015. While Gurley should handle the bulk of Atlanta's carries in place of Devonta Freeman, he's a shaky option early in drafts. Running back David Johnson, Houston Texans. Through 5 seasons, David Johnson had one standout year in 2016. Since then, he struggled with injuries and average production. After missing nearly the entire 2017 season because of wrist surgery, Johnson averaged a career-low 4.5 yards per touch while logging a mediocre 3.6 yards per carry in 2018. Last year, Kenyon Drake usurped Johnson for the lead position in the Arizona Cardinals backfield. The club re-signed the former using the transition tag and traded the latter after his injury-riddled 2019 showing. Johnson should handle the majority of touches in Houston, with Duke Johnson behind him on the depth chart. However, fantasy managers should tread cautiously after he recorded only 715 yards from scrimmage last year and lost his starting job to a player acquired before the trade deadline. Both Johnsons can run and catch out of the backfield. If David struggles to move the ball or takes too many bumps and bruises, Duke becomes an attractive handcuff option. The Texans' starting running back situation seems a bit dicey because of Johnson's modest output and spotty availability in recent seasons. Running back James Conner, Pittsburgh Steelers. With Le'Veon Bell holding out from the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2018, James Conner took the ball and ran with it, all the way to a Pro Bowl appearance. He logged 1,470 yards from scrimmage as the 6th-ranked running back in PPR leagues. Last year, Conner battled significant shoulder and thigh injuries, which limited him to 10 games. Head coach Mike Tomlin plans to use him as a lead ball carrier again this year, though he has a backup plan in place in case Conner gets injured for Benny Snell. Tomlin's comment leaves the door open for Snell to see an expanded role if Conner doesn't play through a full 16-game slate, which he hasn't done in 3 seasons. Rookie 4th-rounder Anthony McFarland Jr. could also steal some carries, and 2018 5th-round pick Jalen Samuels made an impact in the short pass game last year, logging 47 receptions for 305 yards and a touchdown. Conner, who's missed 11 contests in 3 seasons, has competition for his carries and a running back in Samuels, who's capable of handling third-down receiving duties. If the 25-year-old can stay healthy, he has a high ceiling, but fantasy managers would be gambling on his availability and touch volume with a deep running back group. Wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., Cleveland Browns. OBJ played through a sports hernia last season, which likely contributed to his downtick in production. He recorded 74 receptions for 1,035 yards and 4 touchdowns with a 55.6% catch rate. While that's a decent output, it doesn't compare to his 3 Pro Bowl years between 2014 and 2016. Although Beckham is going into the 2020 season healthy, he'll have to share targets with another high-potential pass catcher and tight end Austin Hooper, who registered 71-plus receptions in each of the 2 last campaigns in Atlanta. Furthermore, new head coach Kevin Stefanski may opt to implement an offensive system that worked with the Minnesota Vikings in 2019. He provided strong support for quarterback Kirk Cousins through the ground attack, which ranked 4th in carries. The offense racked up the 6th most rushing yards. Running backs Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt may have a busy season. Wide receiver DJ Moore, Carolina Panthers. DJ Moore has produced with a different primary quarterback in each of his first 2 seasons, catching passes from Cam Newton and Kyle Allen. He'll now have to adjust to Teddy Bridgewater in 2020. Moore's biggest fantasy obstacle isn't the change of quarterback though. He has competition for targets with a legitimate number 2 wideout in Robbie Anderson, who has ties to head coach Matt Rule from his collegiate years at Temple. That's an issue because of Bridgewater's low volume output. Bridgewater averages 173.9 passing yards per game for his career. In 2019, he started 5 contests for the New Orleans Saints and recorded 240 passing yards or fewer in 3 of those outings. Running back Christian McCaffrey will handle the majority of touches as the Carolina Panthers' top offensive threat. Curtis Samuel also remains as a pass-catching option. Rule says it's Ian Thomas's turn at tight end, which may equate to a solid number of targets for him too. Bridgewater hasn't provided a lot to go around in yards, while Moore has only caught 6 touchdown passes in 2 seasons. Without the volume, his fantasy outlook could take a major hit in 2020. Tight end Rob Gronkowski, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rob Gronkowski retired for 1 year and then saw an opportunity to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a reason other than reuniting with quarterback Tom Brady. The main reason why I came down to Tampa is to play because my mother lives 2 hours away, Gronkowski said. She can get to all the games, all 8 of our home games. Whenever I have days off, she's 2 hours down the street and I get to see her. Gronkowski didn't make his way to Tampa Bay solely for the opportunities in the Buccaneers offense. Actually, his role may shrink in comparison to the volume of targets he saw in New England. In addition to Pro Bowl wide receivers Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the Buccaneers have 2 capable pass-catching tight ends other than Gronkowski. Cameron Braid and OJ Howard combined for 70 receptions, 770 yards, and 5 touchdowns last season. Out of the backfield, Ronald Jones II, LaShawn McCoy, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Dare Ogunbowale are all capable pass catchers. Brady will work with a full deck in the passing game, which may leave Gronkowski idle for extended stretches. Tight end Evan Engram, New York Giants. The New York Giants offense figures to cater to running back Saquon Barkley. With an emphasis on the run game, Engram may not see the number of targets comparable to his rookie campaign even if he stays healthy. He'll share looks in the passing game with Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, and Darius Slayton. If quarterback Daniel Jones locks in on Tate and Slayton and Barkley is the engine of the offense, how much would that leave Engram? That's something fantasy managers must consider if they see him as a top 10 tight end. With his injury history and outlook as a 3rd or 4th pass-catching option, Engram has too many red flags in 2020. That's it for today's Sports Mafia video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to see more Sports Mafia content, click the circle subscribe button so you never miss a single video. Hope you enjoyed.